Okay, we're also live now on YouTube. Hi, everyone. I've greeted most of you. I also see my friend Jack Molan, who's just popped in. That's wonderful. I think you're going to enjoy this too. I've seen Amanda say, hey, she wants to see eagles. Oh, we'll talk much more about that. So I'll be live in just a moment. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Christian. I run a YouTube educational channel called Photo, and it's going to be about northern Japan, an incredible trip. So wonderful to see you. Also, beach girl. I see Pacific Northwest Kate. I've greeted many others already. Wobbies is there, and so on. So I'll see you in a moment. I'm just going to make sure we also go live on where is it on Periscope, and then we'll see you. So just hang on, please. Okay, here we are. Let me just switch the clock off. Yeah, we got that. I think the clock is off. We don't need it anymore. So, welcome everyone. This is such an exciting moment. My goodness, we've had a trip and I've seen some comments. A lot of you have actually been able to follow this trip live. I've done that both on YouTube and also on Periscope. I think one of the most remarkable clips that you may have witnessed was when I was actually on the pack ice looking at eagles directly. I think that was one of the greatest moments of my life. To broadcast something like that live has never been possible thanks to the incredible infrastructure of Japan, which has a cellular network structure second to none. I have never seen anything like that. Even in the most remote areas, they have possibilities to reach out to you. So it was actually possible to broadcast from a boat that was well off the shore live. What an incredible time. So I'm here to tell you about this amazing trip, and thank you for joining and taking the time. So I've been sorting like crazy. You have to understand, I was excited, right? And when I came back, I was excited. I had jet lag. And this morning, I just spent so much time going through all my clips. And then I noticed, my goodness, I got this new video camera. The things are not compatible. So I've been running with technical problems till the last moment, trying to sort out everything. And I think I've got something to show you now. But you know what the most important is? I absolutely love Steller eagles. It's terrible. I got addicted, you know. I mean, you can get addicted to bald eagles, but when you see Steller eagles, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Amanda said, oh, she so much wants to see eagles. Well, come to British Columbia, of course, or to Alaska, huh, Jack? Go to Alaska or wherever you want. But anywhere where you want. I'm also seeing, hi everyone, by the way, on the Nature Scoper. Very nice to see you on Periscope. Wonderful. So anyway, so I thought, you know, I'm going to be lonely when I get back. So I asked David Hancock, who traveled with us, do you think I can take a feather along of a Steller eagle? Because sometimes they just lie around. I said, nope. And then I thought, well, you know, if you can't take along a feather, why not take a whole Steller eagle home, right? There's no law against that. So that's what I did. I brought a Steller eagle home. Here he is. That's the first Steller eagle ever in British Columbia. He's fantastic, right? And he's so well behaved, you know, he's so well behaved. So that's my little friend here, a Steller's eagle. He's shrunk a little bit in the suitcase, but he's fine, you know, he's healthy and he's all excited to talk to you today. So anyway, here we go. Let's get going. Okay. Okay. So let me start with a map of Japan. Anyway, so I'm just going to switch over now and see where we are. Map of Japan. There we are. I'm going to get myself out of the way here. So here we go. So what's exciting is I've not been in Japan before. So this was my first time. Now, Japan is very different to China or any other area. You will notice that the moment you land. Okay, so I just want to show you a little bit of the map here. Let me just expand this a little bit. So you can see there's Japan, you have the Sea of Japan, and as you can see, Japan is a very long stretched island that goes from the south where it's fairly warm all the way to the north where it's really cold, borders onto Russia and so on, a really exciting area from wildlife. And that was the reason why David Hancock and why Mike Sears, who's also a good friend, he's a medical doctor. You'll see some of the pictures as we, proceed. The three of us went together and decided to go on this trip, which was very spontaneous. It was only partly planned. The rest was open. We wanted to discover the island. We wanted to rent a car and get going. That was the whole idea. So if you look at Japan, you will notice that there's an island in the north, and that's called Hokkaido. Hokkaido for a long time has been fairly secluded, and it's very different. Many Japanese have never been to Hokkaido, so I'm proud that that I have actually overtaken the Japanese as far as being to Hokkaido, but not being to Tokyo. I think that absurdity doesn't exist very often, but that's what happened in this case. So when you, the way we flew, by the way, was with China Airlines, which went very well, especially after my recent experience to Dallas, which never got me to Florida. This was nice to fly in an airline that actually works. So I wasn't too worried. I thought, you know what, if everything goes wrong, I've been there, but it didn't. It actually went very fluent, and David and I flew together. You'll see some of David Hancock anyway. So we flew together, and we flew over Taiwan, landed in Taiwan, flew another 3 hours, and landed in a place called Sapporo. Now, Sapporo is the main big city in Hokkaido. Okay, and there you can see where Sapporo is. And Sapporo, I thought, is a little city. Well, it actually has, I think, around 2 million. It's quite incredible, actually. And the first thing you notice is the infrastructure in Japan. It's just outstanding, outstanding, outstanding. The moment you get off the plane, everything's organized. I always thought, as a German, we're organized, but no ways. We look chaotic compared to the Japanese. I promise you, there you see the ultimate of organization, in a good way, and also sometimes in an obscure way. And I'll get to that as we talk. So anyway, we landed in Sapporo, and the aim of the trip was to go into the utmost northeast regions of Hokkaido. So we would go then to a place called Kushiro by train. We'll get to that, and then explore the wildlife there and see these wonderful, amazing Steller sea eagles, and see the Japanese cranes and many other things, and visit a beautiful wildlife center. That was the idea. We didn't actually, more than renting a car, we had no booked hotels, nothing. It was spontaneous living from day to day, which actually gave us some problems now and then. It did give us some problems because it turned out that sometimes the hotels also were fully booked. But anyway, so I'm going to start now with some pictures. So we came to Hokkaido, and let me just get back. I've got so many screens here because it was so difficult to get this going with all the technology. So 1 second. Where are we here? Switch this one off. No, wait. I need to do the following. Where is my screen capture? Here we are. Yes. Okay. So now we are coming. You have to understand, it's 8th or 9th of February. It was very recent. And we come to this big snow festival in Hokkaido, in Sapporo, which is amazing. So you come there, and we arrive in the afternoon, and we are ejected to this, absolute Japanese experience. And here we are. Yeah, I think you got the full volume, so I won't talk at the same time, but I think you get the message. there's a lot of activity there. There's a lot of people there, and they have this wonderful snow festival. And what I have to do now is I've got so many clips to show you, so I have selected them, and I just have to jump from clip to clip. And that's the next one. Give you an idea of what Sapporo looks like. Now, what do you notice on this? Beautiful. I'll give you a pause there. Well, what you actually notice, I'll just go back a second. They're very organized, and they have one-way streets for pedestrians, which is really exciting. So you do not go the wrong way, which David and I did the first evening, because it looks rather strange. We thought something's wrong here. So, you know, you swim with the stream, you don't swim against it, right? Although David is very tempted to always swim against the stream. We got him to swim in the right direction this time. So anyway, so yes, you drive on the left-hand side, but you walk on the right-hand side. Really strange, isn't it? So drive on the left-hand side and walk on the right-hand side. So once you got that in your head, you're fine. And then, you know, you get hungry and so on. So let me look at the next clip. Just go forward a bit. Are we here? Yeah, that's what it looks like. So that's what it typically looks like. Let me just see it 1 second. And hi, Jenny. So that's the impression you get. Lots of people and lots of food, and the food is not what it appears to be. You know, what you see there, and you saw David's face there, you know, looking a little bit, wondering what this is, because he was looking for some food. David likes many fried things, so he's looking at the food, but the food tasted very different to what it appeared to be. It's all good, but it just tastes completely different. By the way, the Japanese sushi, so many people, isn't that so, Eric? Yeah, you got so many people there, and you know what's amazing is it just tastes different. The Japanese sushi, the Japanese food is completely different. And what we also found very quickly is there are no garbage bins. It's not like, well, in North America, you have these huge garbage bins where you throw everything in. There's nothing. And they sort everything out. They're like little, you know, all the little wizards working in the background, sorting the garbage out and so on. So we'll get to the garbage question. It's also an interesting one. But that was something we had to get used to. What do you do with your garbage? Do we take it home in our suitcases? I wasn't sure at that time, but we finally found this place that sorted some garbage, which is very difficult to find. So let's go to the next clip. So this is all in Sapporo. I'm just going to jump from clip to clip here. And then a Japanese style here. A little bit of evening activity. And this is all in ice. It's carved beautifully. So that's a snow festival. Yeah, and you can see what's going on there, right? There's a lot of activity, and there are people everywhere. So they come from Japan and everywhere to see this incredible festival. So next clip, I have to look at my list always, because let me go here. Yeah, then you come to these beautiful sculptures, and I actually gave a live broadcast on that too, so you can see that. But this is typically what I see. I mean, it's out of this world. It's really absolutely out of the world. The quality. If you've seen this before, probably in Edmonton or other cold places where they do some sculpting. Yes, that's Hokkaido, exactly. So if you've seen anything like that, this is the top of the top, the best that you can imagine. And they have to redo this every day, because I came there very early one morning and I realized that they had to resculpture quite a lot, all the fine details, because you know, the ice melts, even frozen ice melts very slowly, and the intricate details get lost. So it was absolutely stunning to see that. So let's see, where are we now? That's the next clip. Yeah, I'm going to show you. And then, of course, came Star Wars. That was a big thing. Yeah, so that was quite amazing. I'm just looking at all your comments here. Lady Hawk is also there, by the way. Hi, tree climbing. Many others I see here. Very nice to see you. Tiger Lily and so on. Thanks for joining. Mark too. Hal is there and so on and so on. Very nice to see you all. So I will do my best to jump. I'm a complete one-man band today. I'm jumping from so many screens. So if I don't see your comments, just forgive me because I'm trying to concentrate also on the content here. Really multitasking, which is difficult for a man like me. Okay, but I'm trying. Okay, so next clip, let's go. 31, so we are, yeah, let's go a bit forward. And it's this clip. So they have these wonderful ice things for children, and you can see what they do here. This is really slippery. This is really slippery, and you see sometimes the adults trying to help their children. They're the ones who need help, not the children, because they're the ones falling all the time. Okay, and then, well, this is typically what it looks like. This is early in the morning. This is in the morning. Now watch this. Isn't that remarkable? So that's what happens early in the morning. So people are very engaged, and you can see they're all walking in one direction, right? Next one. Let me see. 40, that's the next one. And then you get these, and again, I did a live broadcast on this already, but you get this beautiful structure, and you can see how the ice is melting here. And this is a very high resolution camera. By the way, I'm running at 60 frames per second for the first time in this live broadcast to show you some of the more beautiful details that go smooth. This is actually 4K. This is actually all filmed in 4K, the highest quality video camera that I've used to get this across. So I hope at least on YouTube and on Facebook you'll be able to see the quality, and maybe also on Periscope. Okay, let's continue to the next one. Oh yeah. And just to show you some of these, this is not Aloha, it's Alola, okay? But these are the typical sort of Japanese characters. They're rather famous, and again, beautiful sculptures here. And look at this. Isn't that incredible? I mean, this is absolutely stunning stuff. Let's see where we are now. I wanted to show you. Okay, then we jump a bit because I really want to get going to our trip too. This is just a typical picnic. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, they're sitting out there at minus temperatures, enjoying their picnic. That's how you bring up your children. Quite a change, isn't it? I mean, this is just, well, it's a fine day in Florida. That's what it looks like. It's just remarkable. Let's see, 56. Okay, let's jump a bit. Oh yeah, and this is so typically Japanese, of course. This is what Mark already remarked. And this is absolutely exquisite. So this, if you haven't seen my live stream, this is actually from Helsinki. This is a building in Helsinki. This is enjoying the Finnish Japanese relationship, and there is a band playing here. Quite remarkable. And I think you can appreciate the size difference. You can see how big these these ice sculptures are. It's absolutely phenomenal. It really is. Okay, next clip. Let me see where I am now. Yep. Oh yes, and this is just to show you the organization. I mean, this is the way you organize. There's somebody looking at it. He sort of waved, and they have these big megaphones there, shouting at people which direction to go and what to do. I mean, I don't understand Japanese, but that was going on all the time. And let's go on. Okay, and one last one here, and then we jump to the next part. Oh yeah, this is just it's just cute. I mean, this is all. Okay, so you can see, and then I'll jump over, because what I was doing is I was using so different types of media. So this was done with the mainly done with a 4K video camera. Then I jumped to my iPhone very often, because sometimes you can capture things with your iPhone that you never can capture with your video camera. Then I had my big camera, of course, the Nikon along to get close-ups, which I won't even show today, but I got marvelous close-ups of wildlife. And then, of course, I had a drone too, which gave some incredible footage. So all these different things. Thanks to David to make place in his luggage, especially the carry-on luggage. Otherwise, this wouldn't have been possible. So I'm just going to jump quickly. Give me a second. Is this correct? Wait a second. No, that's not correct. 1 second. That's the wrong window. Sorry, it's this one. Yeah, okay. Now you're going to see something astounding. Now the Japanese are very conscious of their health. And then you get these crazy contradictions, as you're going to see now. This was filmed with an iPhone. So this is I don't know what to call this. This is like closing your garage, putting the car on, and breathing whatever you can and enjoying yourself. That's what I would call this, right? And if you don't have money for smoking, you just go in there, right? You don't need a cigarette for this, but you just enjoy yourself. But that's part of the Japanese way of enjoying themselves. So they have these and everybody can look in. So it's sort of looking at, I don't know what, like an amazing rock concert in there. It's just really stunning. So that's one of the amazing contradictions that we found in Japan, right? I mean, just I'll let you have another look at this. This is at the train station, right? So. It's just so funny. Smoke tent, isn't it? It's a smoke tent. Yes. I'll just see if there are some other remarks. Oh no, smoking room. Yes, Osprey Mama, it is. Let me just look quickly how my friend's doing on Tim. How do they keep ice sculptures from melting? You know, Tim, that's a great question. The answer is it's cold enough. Actually, it's 40. It's latitude 43 degrees, and the temperature is just really below zero all the time, so it doesn't really melt. But you get some melting through the sun, and they correct that in the morning. So you couldn't do that in Vancouver, or maybe not Seattle, or many other places, because it wouldn't be cold enough all the time. Hokkaido is special for that, and that's why they can do this. It's a great question, actually. Okay, so let's jump on. My next clip, sorry, I'm just jumping here from screen to screen. Oh yeah, and now this is what a Japanese washing machine looks like. I thought this was a washing machine, right? Well, what do you think this is? Is this a washing machine? It's not. It's a Japanese gaming center. It's a gaming center. That's the answer. Okay, this is what it actually is, right? So it's a gaming center, and they do all kinds of weird things. I have no idea what's going on, but I just wanted to quickly give you an impression. It's just holes and holes of people doing crazy things, right? And they're really crazy. I have to see if I find the crazy clips. I do. Yes, let me jump on. Yeah, this is a real one. What on earth is this guy dropping? You know, they play in these halls and they play on washing machines and well, all kinds of it's certainly changed. I feel really like an old man when I see this. Okay, let's go on. Where are we now? 19. Okay, yeah, let's go to clip 25. Oops, here we are. Oh yes, and then I want to show you what the typical Japanese railway. We've always heard about what crowded railways look like. They're not only in Tokyo. Fortunately, ours wasn't so bad, right? But this is what it looks like. That's on a railway station. It's very cold there. And I think you get the idea. It's very organized. They're very polite. The Japanese are very polite. And thank goodness to Mike Sears, who actually learned some Japanese and read immensely a lot about the culture. You'll see him a bit later because he missed his plane. They had a pilot strike on the same airline. We were lucky that we came, but he came 2 days later. He arrived. But David and I were just going by train somewhere. I think this one was along to the coast actually, because we were getting sick and tired of the of being in the city. We wanted to see wildlife. That's why we came, right? But this is typical what you see for the railway stations. Okay, 26. Oh yeah, and that's actually on our way to Kushiro. And there's David. Now watch the luggage. Now the problem is except for the big black bag, everything is my luggage. It's all photographic equipment and some clothes. Okay, just so much. Even there's another bag in the background, as you can see. That's also photographic equipment. So thanks for David for tolerating, and also to Mike for tolerating all this equipment, because in the end it turned out to be really necessary. But that's us just before we went on to Kushiro. So we left Sapporo and we went to Kushiro. Let me just jump to another screen. Yep. So here's the map again. Here's the map. Okay, sorry. That's where we were, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So Sapporo is very much in the west, and Kushiro is the largest town in the east, and there's very good railways. The Japanese railway is just outstanding, even in those regions where it snows a lot. So we decided to go there by train, which takes about 4.5 hours to there, and that would be the beginning really of our adventure. We went to Sapporo just to see the snow festival, not really to be in a big city. So let me just jump back again. Wait a second. Where am I? Sorry. I'm a little bit confused now because I forgot where I am. I got too many screens. Yes, I think I know what's going on now. Okay, here we go. Okay. Next one. Let me see where we are now. So you have to excuse me, I sorted all this out this morning, right? With an incredible enthusiasm and speed to be able to show you this as long as it is fresh. So sometimes it takes a little bit time for me to get to the next clip. Okay, here we go. And there comes our train, by the way. So if you wondered, what does a Japanese train look like, even Hokkaido going out to the countryside, that's what it looks like. Really beautiful. Absolutely stunning. The train service is so and their voices in English and Japanese reminding you to please be quiet. Don't use your cell phone and so on. I think that's quite wonderful, actually, because it's very much respected and you get your peace, you can rest. You can also talk, but you talk quietly. Okay, let's see, 30. Okay, next clip. And that's what it looks like inside the train. Wasn't there too long, but you can see very well. That's economy class, and it's beautiful. So there's no problem staying on the train for 4.5 hours. Oh, Now, what's absolutely stunned me and I really have to laugh, is the Japanese toilets. I mean, the Japanese are the masters of hygiene. They are. If you've never seen this, you'll be surprised. I remember, I figured this out, that you actually, well, I won't go into details, but you have to sit in this thing in order to use it. I saw David coming there and I could watch through the mirror and he was just pressing buttons and now it's all clean and the thing was, there was fountains happening everywhere. So it was quite stunning to see his face because, he soon realized what the real purpose of this thing is. But anyway, it's marvelous. A seated toilet seat, heated toilet seat. Let me say that word. Heated toilet seat in the cold is marvelous. Okay, so very hygienic, beautifully done. Everything's always very clean in Japan. The hotel rooms are in general quite small, but this is what you find. Quite exceptional. Okay, wait. That's just to jump a bit. That's just a bit about eagles. Hang on. Let me just go on to I just have to see where I am now. 45. Yeah. Oh yes. Then what I just wanted to show you, we went to the wildlife center there, and this is Dr. Saito. This is Dr. Saito, who is an incredible veterinarian. Now we're going to start with wildlife. And we just came there to visit him, and he's got a wonderful wildlife center. And this is just David with incredible generosity. He took so many books along, 50 pounds of books he carried with him, which we helped him carry, and just giving books away
Even though
left,
it's
right,
your
and center.
book.
Yeah. That's great. Thank you so much.
Still me.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's you.
Yeah, this is my company, yeah. see?
Wow.
Yeah. So I
Oh, that's great.
yeah. I mean, David Bird and Cohen did
Yeah.
the writing, but I pulled it all together for them, yeah.
Right.
I just saw some comments here on. I just quickly want to answer to your comments here. Tree climbing says outhouse. If you mean, well, very often they just. This is an interesting point, by the way. Outhouse. The Japanese are masters of keeping the temperature low. Right? You come into a supermarket, and okay, let me just put myself back in the picture here. 1 second, I forgot that. Okay. So the Japanese are masters with keeping temperatures and saving energy in quite a remarkable way, because in supermarkets you usually come warmly dressed anyway. Well, in North America and also in Europe, we do exactly that. You heat like crazy. It's not necessary in a supermarket because a lot of the vegetables have to be kept quite cool. So they actually lower the temperature, which makes complete sense. And that way you double save on energy. Not only do you save a lot of energy because the people are warmly dressed anyway, but at the same time, you don't have to then again deep freeze inside a big warehouse or a big supermarket, which is completely defeating the purpose. So they're very, very clever. So they actually say, well, fine, you can get used to the temperatures. It's all a bit lower. By the way, the hotel rooms are very nice and warm, so that's not the problem. But when you come to big supermarkets, you're coming in cold anyway. So it doesn't really bother you when the temperature is lower. But we measured sometimes between 14 and 17 degrees Celsius. I think I have to if there's someone that can convert that to Fahrenheit. I usually can do that, but between 14 and 16 degrees Celsius, please convert it to Fahrenheit, so everybody can see if you've got time. But that's the temperature that you typically have in supermarkets. Quite interesting. So anyway, coming back to Dr. Saito, he's remarkable. Do you know how old this man is? He's 53. I mean, he looks like 30 or 20. I don't know. It's just so remarkable. They're very conscious of their lifestyle. They are very aware of everything they do. They are aware of your hand movements, of everything. He's just really alert. That's what I noticed. And they're very much into detail. Everything is beautiful in detail. And you'll see a little bit of that as we go through the wildlife center. I just had to mention that. Okay, let's just see if you put in the conversion. No one has done it so far. 60-ish. Thank you, Mel. On 60-ish is the High Gentleman Ghost, also on YouTube. On Periscope. So around 60-ish. So that's fairly cool for a supermarket if you go and shop there, right? Okay. Now I got so many screens. I just have to keep track of what I'm doing. Okay. And this was remarkable. This was my first. This was apart from our friend here who you just met, right? Those of you who think you can't import Steller seagulls, here you are. That was my first encounter with a bit skinny-looking white-tailed eagle. Okay, so that's the first white-tailed eagle that I met. It stood rather quietly there, but it was remarkable because it would stand so quietly you could actually look at it very carefully. So I certainly did that. And I filmed it from all sides because you don't get that opportunity very much. Well, I think they gave him a little bit more food, so I think he looks a little bit better now. So let me jump to the next clips now, which are... Yeah, now I know where I have to go. I have to jump another window because this is another format again. By the way, if you're asking me why didn't I import all this into Wirecast, I can't. These type of formats are so special they can't be imported. That's why I'm jumping screens like that. So just forgive me for doing that. Okay, so let's go to the next one now. I'm going to jump forward. Oh yeah, and this was interesting. So David and I, and this just goes back a little bit. We were keen to see some wildlife near Sapporo, so we went out west with the train. So I'm jumping back a little bit in time now because I couldn't put this completely correctly into sequence. But it was a bit depressing. There were all these pigeons. It was quite interesting. So, we didn't see much fish lying around because we thought, well, let's go to the harbor and we would see eagles there in Sapporo. But we didn't. That's what we saw. And then to my surprise, the next thing I saw was this. I saw lots of cats. And I said, why are there so many cats here? I mean, just cats everywhere. You see, that's crazy. And the reason, of course, is they're pigeons, right? Because of the pigeons, they're cats. So, you see, that's the type of wildlife balance you get. But I just thought that was a curious, just something really curious that I had not seen before. Okay, now let's go forward again. Oh yeah, and this is another thing that's absolutely remarkable for Hokkaido. There's solar energy everywhere. They have gigawatts of installed solar energy. And these are just huge plants everywhere. You see them all everywhere. Although this is only 43 degrees as north, they do have quite good weather in general, although it can get fairly cold. But ever since Fukushima, they are completely obsessed with getting independent, which I think is a great thing. I think Fukushima was a terrible disaster, and unfortunately not the solution that that the world was looking for some clean type of energy, because Fukushima taught the Japanese that there's no such thing as complete reliability, in engineering. It just doesn't exist, and it will never exist. So they're looking for alternatives, and so they put a lot of investment into solar here. It's sort of the biggest investment I've ever seen. So again, quite an experience. Okay, let's jump to the next. Where am I now? 1, 2, 4. 1 second. Oh yeah, now we jump forward quite a bit. Sorry, my dogs are running around the background. I hope they're not going to make too much noise. Yeah, and this was wonderful. So coming back now to the Wildlife Center, before we visited more, Dr. Saito actually took us out to a village. And this was really beautiful because, this is a fishing village. And by the way, this is the car he was driving. So you can see also what the road conditions were like. The road conditions were very good. You can see they're driving on the left-hand side. And in general, they look very well after the roads there. And this was quite an interesting incident there because... just listen to David.
They're still looking for the eagle.
Okay, so I don't know if you understood what David was saying there, but what he was saying was there was an incident. Dr. Saito was called in as we were driving out there, and there was an incident, and that seems to be the most serious incident that they have with wildlife. Is not the collision. What we have is number one is usually lead poisoning, or you have road accidents. The number one killer for Hokkaido is the trains, the incidents with the trains, because they go so quickly. And the reason is they have so much deer there. So what happens is the deer gets killed by the train. I'll get to the deer in one moment. And then, of course, the eagles come and scavenge on them. And as they fly off, the train is coming at such a speed. And unfortunately, a lot of eagles get injured. And that's where Dr. Saito's institute comes in to of course, rehabilitate. And we were witnessing one of these incidents. In this case, the eagle did fine. They came back then. I just have to see which our next clip is, 178. Yeah, so they came back, and it's a huge, you can see how many people from the railway come into one single incident. We could not imagine this to happen in North America, but there were 4 people from the railway, 5 people from the railway, that's Dr. Saito point, and they were carrying out the carcass from the deer. Unfortunately, the eagle was fine in this case, but it was a very interesting thing to observe. Completely different to what we have seen. So a lot of involvement. There's a lot of communication there between the Ministry of Transportation and also Wildlife and Dr. Saito and so on. You can see they put a lot of effort into preservation, mainly due to his initiative. By the way, California, as you know, is one of the first states or parts of the world ever to go lead-free. Quite remarkable. That should be fairly soon, isn't it, Kit? Very good what's going on in California. And Hokkaido has the same. They have done so many detailed studies. They are going from lead to copper bullets. And this will have a tremendous effect, a positive effect on wildlife. It'll take a lot of time because, of course, there's a lot of lead buried in lakes and so on. That still gets exposed to the wildlife. But as long as it's underneath the surface, in whatever way underneath the ground, the risk for wildlife is not so great. But lead poisoning, that is very good. I wish there were more initiatives like in California, and also what we see here in Hokkaido, just absolutely remarkable. The rest of the world is far, far behind. Sad to say. But it is actually possible to do this. It is possible. So really nice. Okay, let's go on. I'm just going to look at your comments quickly. So I'm going to say, let me first look at some of your comments. I'm just looking quickly at YouTube here. Let me see. Jack, I can see something. Christian, I love the way you're always apologizing. Judging a wild stream, yes. I feel bad when I do pauses. I do, because I always think, oh my goodness, he should be better prepared. I've actually prepared myself very well, but to do this live on your own is extremely difficult. It's very difficult to much easier to put together a nice movie and sit back and say, now you watch it. But I wanted to give you the interaction and tell the story whilst it's really live in my head. So thank you for that comment. Okay, so let me quickly look at Facebook. What's going on? Waiting for Western Chester, Pennsylvania. Okay, there, Pat Davis. I can see. Yeah, California. Yeah, that's right. That's right, absolutely. And hi, Linda, and hi, everyone else on Facebook. Thanks for tuning in. Really wonderful to have you, and thanks for the patience that you have. And I'm just going to look at Facebook, at Periscope. I can see Gentleman Ghost and Eric, I can see, and a few others. Let me see if I can scroll down for your comments here. Hi, Dr. Zasser from Redondo Beach, California. That's very nice. Well, great for the Californians, by the way. Big respect. Spread this news to the world to stop lead poisoning. This can be done. Absolutely remarkable. Really good work, and good for Hokkaido too. So I'm really delighted to see this. Okay, so let's jump on. Let's see, where are we now? Clip 181. I have to look at my notes here again. Yep. Oh, now it's taking a little bit of time, unfortunately. So it should come up in a moment. This is always what I feared. that for some reason or another, oh yeah, here we go. No, it's there. It's there. It's okay. So I hope some of you had the joy of seeing my beautiful Japanese crane live broadcast. There were two. The second one was incredible. I remember Hal saying, "Wow, what an orchestra!" That's exactly what it was. A remarkable orchestra. I've got the most beautiful images also, especially for all of you who support me on YouTube. The donations, I'm going to go through them, and also the Patreon supporters. You will get images. Okay, that's the reward. I can send you beautiful images for the next months to come. Images that are out of this world. That's one thing I can promise. They are of National Geographic quality. They are because it's just remarkable. In an environment like this, you produce the best. You absolutely do. And I had frozen fingers till I had frozen fingers. I didn't care. I just stood out there and with a lot of patience, and also patience from the others, by the way, from Mike and from David. I got the most remarkable thing. So I'm just showing you videos today. Gentleman Ghost is asking about the warship. Yes, that was an American warship. That is exactly right. Now, I'm not a specialist, Gentleman Ghost, on warships. You just saw me quickly go through that. Yes, that is correct. That is on the west. It's the west to the west of Sapporo. You're absolutely right. And that is a U.S. warship. We actually talked with two gentlemen from the Navy about these warships who were in the same hotel. And they gave us the advice to go there. So well spotted, well spotted. So these are these beautiful cranes. They are non-migratory, which is really exceptional. So do look at the live stream. I'm not going to show a lot now, but it's so exquisite. You have in the morning, they come in because they're being fed there over winter. The Japanese are very good looking after their wildlife. So they're not like us North Americans. We look after hummingbirds and whatever, but we may not look after other wildlife so well. They have a much broader plan, say, this is all wildlife, we're going to look after it, whether it's Steller eagles or whatever. I know a lot of you are going to say, that's not right, that's not right. Well, that's going to be an interesting topic for David Hancock to tackle. He's been doing a lot of thinking, and I think he's thinking very controversial to many who would say you need to leave nature alone. And his main argument, by the way, is, and I think that's a great argument, is there's no such thing as leave nature alone. We've destroyed it sufficiently, which we have. We have completely invaded the planet. We are exploiting the world with oil and whatever for our own goods, and I'm as guilty as anybody else is. But we cannot simply say, and wildlife, well, you adjust with your little space, we're going to fish everything, we're going to take everything, we're going to drill, exploit all the oil and so on, and destroy everything with whatever suits us to have a party here on Earth. In the meantime, our wildlife suffers. So there has to be a balance. And the balance is not an easy question. It's not an easy question, but it's something that David Hancock is tackling. Very remarkable at the age of 80 that he's doing this. And I actually completely agree with his point of view. So that's maybe a controversial topic, but it's a great topic. Okay, next one. Let's jump on 192. Yep. Now we're going to do a bit of a jump because I'm not going to show you much about the cranes. I want to show you things that you have not seen. Okay, it's taking a bit of time, unfortunately. I would have to reboot the computer, which I cannot do at the moment. But that's okay. That's okay. It's just my computer is so hard at work here trying to do everything. So we went back the next day to the Wildlife Center, and Mike Sears arrived from the evening before. We had dinner with Dr. Saito, and that's Mike, by the way. Marvelous person, highly intelligent, very well educated. He's absolutely remarkable. He's got degrees more than there's sand on this earth. It's quite exceptional, and he really loves it. And he's put so much time into studying Japanese privately, which is so difficult. And it really worked. So often he jumped in and he would say something in Japanese and we were actually able to communicate. And he's gone with such effort to this trip to understand the Japanese culture. And it was wonderful just to listen to him explaining things in great detail, just as much as it has. We were a wonderful trio to have David Hancock there, because David Hancock is an encyclopedia of wildlife and he has these special eyes. And I'm the photographer and more the media person. So it was a very nice combination we had here. I'm more the techie. So, that...
We have severe case for purple.
Hair.
Okay, so this woman, she's a brilliant vet. So she works together with Dr. Saito. And what we're going now is we're seeing these amazing aviaries they have. And that, the day before, I had seen a Steller eagle from quite far. So this was the first time I could see a Steller very close. And I've got amazing clips that I can't even show you from close up from Stellers. But they are there in the under rehabilitation here. And they've got the biggest, most beautiful aviaries I've ever seen. Absolutely exquisite, exquisite. I think Osprey Mama was already remarking on this. If you think Florida's got beautiful aviaries, come to Hokkaido. It's just incredible. So let me just jump to the next one. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time again. So just bear with me. And I don't know what the reason is. It's because I'm loading the stream so heavily. So here you go. Now this is a remarkable clip. First of all, I was able to film. Go inside an aviary, which is quite remarkable. They gave me permission to go inside an aviary. This time I'm filming from outside, but I could go inside an aviary and actually see how the birds are rehabilitated. Oh, what a word. But anyway, brought back to health so that they can fly. There's some that can never fly, so they have different cages. Others that are seriously injured, and then they have other cages for a big aviary where they learn to fly again. I can't show all this now. But what you see is a remarkable thing in front. Now, this is what Dr. Saito did in order to prevent electrocution. Now, I'm an electrical engineer. I love this. So you can see it's a yellow-red stick that stands out. It's to prevent eagles from landing near transformers so that they don't short circuit things and die that way, right? So he's come up with this thing. They've done many studies together. They are far advanced. In this case, they've done studies together with the government, quite remarkable, all on his initiative. And the railway is financing this. So why is it yellow and red? They found out that red is the main color for eagles, right? Eagles receive more the red, while the beautiful fish owl, which we'll get to the Blakiston fish owl, which is very rare. It's an endangered species that is found in northern Japan and also in Russia. They can be prevented, and they see mainly yellow. So they've done all these tests with red and yellow. That's why it has these two colors. Okay, and there's a lot more he's done in this regard, especially on bridges, to prevent them to land on bridges. There are sort of yellow flags coming down to prevent them, and yellow all kinds of obstacles to prevent the fish owl where it goes fishing, or the eagle in red where it would be landing. So very well thought through, quite remarkable. So here is a beautiful white-tailed eagle, which you find typically also in Europe. You know that from Lady Hawk. You've seen many of the clips and so on. But the white-tailed eagle is resident also and nests also in Hokkaido, whilst the Steller eagles, the Stellers, which you'll see in a moment, much bigger eagle, by the way, probably just a little bit smaller than the wedge-tailed eagle in Australia, which got a wingspan of, I think, 8 feet. The Steller comes to 6.5 and is huge. And the white-tailed eagle is very similar to our size. I think it's just a little bit bigger than our bald eagle.
Pretty colour, aren't they? Sort of tawny. And that's as yellow as their beak goes. It doesn't go yellow like a bald eagle. It's just that light yellow. Oh, beautiful. And then the babies are brown.
Yes, baby brown. Dark brown.
Well, as you imagine, I couldn't get enough of these clips. I have so many. I'm not going to bore you with that. I could show you this all day. Beautiful, beautiful birds from all sides. I mean, this is what we came for, right? I mean, this is what we came for. And we couldn't get enough. I don't know how much footage I took. I just went on and on. But this is just one of the many beautiful clips that I was able to take. Okay, I'm just going to quickly have a look at your comments if you're still all okay. But not the colors. Hang on, that is smart. Yes, it is. It is the colors. It really depends on the yellow and red. I'm just seeing some comments here. White-tailed eagle. Yes, Kit, that's a white-tailed eagle that you see there, a really beautiful one. Just make sure. Beautiful birds, aren't they? That's here on whale. Who is that? Sorry. Let me just look on that. That is here on Periscope. Is it cool that they're trying to preserve the endangered birds? Absolutely. And they really, you know, their studies are absolutely magnificent that they have there. Okay, so let's jump on to the next clip. Let me just see where we are now. Okay, yep. Oh my goodness, I have so many beautiful clips. I don't even know where to start. Hang on, that was too far. So just give it a moment to load again. And then we'll be on our way. What's the time, by the way? Am I? Oh, it's still okay. We're still there. Now there's the Steller's eagle. You know, they are so beautiful. Okay, you see where they come from. I mean, what's so remarkable is the where you know, the front. They're actually white, so when they fly you see it like that, and they got this beautiful white there and the black, and they got these huge beaks. Of course, they're much bigger than our bald eagle, and just the combination is just so outstanding. I'm so happy that I got one of them from Dr. Saito, and I brought him back home because now I can look at them all the time and be happy. Okay, so let's have a look at this beautiful Steller's eagle. So Steller's, by the way, it's not Steller with an A, right?
That's as much as it is.
Well, this one's
the
a
height
male.
and
Right?
the length.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Are they living in the wild 40 years? 25?
Maybe.
Yes, and I mean, I have so many clips. It's just an example, but it does remind you of a bald eagle, but the beak is definitely bigger, isn't it? And it's very similar with the female and the male. The female is bigger than the male, and the female has a bigger, the depth of the beak is larger than the male, very similar to our bald eagle. In fact, their whole behavior is really similar. Okay. Let's go. But they're absolutely stunningly beautiful. I think this is like the finest of nature. They're really, that's just my personal opinion. I'm completely obsessed with these beautiful birds. Where are we? 243. Okay, I'm going to jump a bit now. Okay, so we just have to wait a moment again. Always gives me a bit of time to look at your comments. Hello, beautiful, isn't he? Where can we buy these stuffed Stellers? Ha ha ha. And I knew Susan would say that. Now come their aviaries. This is remarkable. I mean, this is an aviary that you see there in the background. Okay, it's to my, I don't know if it's to my right or left, whatever you see. It doesn't matter, but it's on the long side. You can see that's a huge aviary, and it's remarkable. There's a Blakiston owl in there. So the Blakiston fish owl. There's one single owl in that. It's such a rare bird. The female can be up to 10 pounds. It's a massive owl. The current population in Japan is about 100 to 150 birds. That's a total. So it's very much a dying, nearly extinct species. There are about 20 breeding pairs that they have. So the wingspan typically of these Blakiston fish owls are up to 6'3", huge. So that's my height almost. That's a huge wingspan for an owl. And they had this big cage, and I was able to go inside, by the way, and take movies inside of completely unobstructed by the cage. And it's so beautiful the way they set this up. So let me just jump to the next clip. Okay, yep. Gosh, 4, 7. Here we go. Okay, let's let it just load. See what you're doing in the meantime, if you're still with me. Yes. So after we've been there, I wanted to show you how big these owls are. Now you're going to fall over. That's an owl there. That's an owl. This is absolutely incredible. I mean, it looks like out of this world. It's a science fiction movie. Now, this is an injured owl. that is in rehab, but we could touch the owl and everything. It's got a bit of brain damage, this owl. That's why it's so quiet. I mean, usually these are very fierce raptors, right? But I have to play this clip to you. It's so remarkable.
Cat, wherever you want him to look, he's not going to look. Hello.
Chibi. Naming meaning of the small one in Japanese.
The small.
Now you're going to be surprised if I tell you this was a small owl. This was a small owl, and that's also why it needed help. It's much smaller than the average. Okay, so in reality that owl is even a lot bigger than what you see here. A lot bigger. It's almost inconceivable to have such an owl. It's incredible. I mean, there are two places in Japan. Where you can actually see the Blakiston fish owl live. And by the way, if you're interested, my friends, I will probably run a Hokkaido tour. Okay, so 4 or 5 of you who are interested, I know where the places are. Believe me, I know how to organize a tour now that is remarkable. And I can assure you, you'll have the joy of your life probably next February or so. So if you're interested, send me an email at zasafoto@gmail.com and I'll see what I can do, because it's so remarkable. And you have to know your way around in Japan. I think I do know that now, and also know, as if you're interested in wildlife, exactly what's interesting. One can make a week to 10 days absolutely superb. And I think one of the highlights will be also to visit the wildlife center, which I'm quite sure I'll get permission for. So I'm just throwing that in. Think about it, okay? So let's go on. 271. Do they dive for fish? Yes, they do. They do. We haven't actually, that's a great question. They do dive for fish. Oh, I just had to show you another one. It's just such a beautiful bird. They do. And you can actually see that behind a glass. They do hunt at night, so they're nocturnal. So it's possible to do that. We didn't do that because we didn't see any reason to photograph them at night, because we've actually seen the bird from very close.
Born in 2011.
But just to show you.
This year.
It's just one of these
8 years
remarkable
old.
experiences.
So they probably mature at 2 or 3.
Already.
Yeah,
3.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Female is 3 or 4,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the male is a little bit faster. So
Faster.
2 or 3.
2.
So that's the Blakiston fish owl, okay, the famous Blakiston fish owl. And gosh, we were lucky. I can tell you, we were so blessed, of course, thanks to David Hancock's remarkable contacts, and also Kurt, by the way, who gave us a contact too. So Kurt and I still have to talk about this. He was on the show a few months ago, and that contact really helped to see something that is absolutely exceptional. So we're very grateful that we could experience these things. So let me go a little bit forward again. Okay, let it just load. I'm just going to see if in the meantime, it's always give you some time. I want to hold that gorgeous owl, says Proud Cat Mama of 3. I bet you do. That's quite wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Pat. You're very welcome. Diane says, how gorgeous, isn't it? It is. So it's absolutely remarkable. So yeah, I have so many clips. Now this is another remarkable place. This is in a small fishing village, and in that small fishing village, there are lots of kites. Now, many of you in North America or in Europe have seen kites. I'd never seen them. I didn't know. They're remarkable animals. David explained it very well to me. They are incredibly maneuverable. They outmaneuver almost anything in flight. You can see that also in the structure of their tail. But they have very small very small talons. You can't even call them feet. They're not talons, really. They're more like feet. So they can't grab very much. So they have to be extremely versatile in order to compensate for that. And that they are. And they make this incredible whistling noise, which is a sound. It's not a noise, it's a sound actually, beautiful sound. And you can hear it actually. Look at one of the live clips again that I gave, either on Periscope or YouTube. I showed this. Only now you see it in much better quality. So you can see there's a Stellers up there. They're white-tailed and there are lots of kites. So again, I won't. There are so many pictures I could show, but I just, because of time constraints, I don't want to do that. I'm going to jump forward again. Because I do want to get to a very special point. Oh my goodness, I still have a lot of things to show. Tell me if it gets too much. We can split this up into two. Okay, we can split this up into two sessions. If you say, Christian, this is very nice, but I'm really getting tired, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. By the way, I did broadcast, so I'm going to have a quick look at your comments while whilst I show this. Okay. Okay, so sorry for the last part, but anyway, thanks to Chickadee for donating something. I really appreciate that because the trip is expensive, right? But I'm not. I'm just grateful for all the donations because they go into making this even better. Okay, so it's going to get better and better. That's what the whole aim is, and I hope you're really enjoying this. So I'll go on as long as you're not going to stop me. Showing some more. So I'm going to jump back and let me see where we are now. 307. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to look at your comments in the meantime. I want to order your book. Oh yeah, that's interesting. I will make. I'm going to. That means I actually have to. Are you going to do a stream? Ask Terry and so on. Okay, this was just remarkable. It's very, very cold, by the way, out there. That's one thing we did find, because there's a howling wind on the ice, which makes the temperature drop at least by 20 degrees of Fahrenheit or Celsius. Doesn't matter in this case. It gets really cold. But this was a typical scene that I also broadcast. Again, I could broadcast live from there. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. But you give, hi Osprey Mama, thanks for the donation. That's very kind. And Chickadee, of course, 64, very kind of you. That's really wonderful. So you can see that, in what type of environment we were. Very much in the rural areas, which was so, absolutely nice to see. Hang on, I just have to go back here to my notes. 313. And you were asking what I'm going to do with all the material. There's so much I can do. I can do a documentary from this because there's just so much material here that many people have never seen. And it's also so interesting. But the other thing I'm thinking of is actually making a beautiful eagle calendar. An eagle calendar on Stellers and whitetails like you've never seen before. And I can really promise that. Okay. So that's definitely going to go for, some tiers on the Patreon, or I'll give you the opportunity, those who don't want to go on Patreon, to buy it, or those who donate will get a calendar from me anyway. So that's one thing I can promise. Now comes the thing. So what does a typical bed and breakfast look like? So we drove up the coast. To a place called Nemuro. Nemuro is a fishing town and very famous. Again, they got lots of eagles around, which is, of course, why we went there, because of the wildlife. And Dr. Saito gave us the recommendation here for a beautiful bed and breakfast of a bird lover too. And he could also speak some English, which is a big advantage. But this is a typical room, very well heated. Looks a bit sort of Swedish style to me. Well insulated, had a very good heater on, and incredible hospitality. Now in Japanese culture, you have to be extremely careful to respect what they do. You know, always take off your shoes. So, you know, we did make mistakes, right? We did make mistakes, but we learned. But the shoe one wasn't difficult to learn. But there were other fine errors that you could make. One error that we did learn that I would just wanted to share with you, even having Mike Sears, who's very culturally aware, and gave us many warnings of what to hold chopsticks and so on, because you don't want to disrespect the culture you're in. You're in another country, and that's the culture they have, and you should respect that, right? So we were trying to be as respectful as we can, but we did make errors. One error that we made was in a supermarket. Now this is funny because we were wanting some coffee. They had hot coffee, right? And some buns. So they have these sort of fluffy buns that we had for breakfast sometimes, or just in between to warm up. So we went in there. Sometimes these small supermarkets had chairs on the side, and sometimes they didn't. Now, the thing is, if they don't have chairs, you're not allowed to eat inside. Okay, so we thought, well, we're going to go stand in the corner, dip our coffee, you know, like you do in a gas station or so. You can't do that. We were kicked out, quite furious actually. So that made a click. So we learned that don't do that. And then they get really upset. They get really upset because it's disrespect for the culture. There are a lot of unwritten rules, that even with the best guides, you will probably make mistakes. Now, don't panic if you make a mistake. Just apologize and move on, okay? But then keep it in your mind and, move on. So that was the only really serious mistake we made. The others, thanks especially to Mike's good advice, we could avoid. But let me just show you what the bed and breakfast looks like. So very clean.
Well, I wish you would, because I would love to show you eagles in our area. There's lots of them. Lots of them.
So this is the inspiration card.
Yes, of course.
So,
For everybody, or just
I like
reference?
you write in each one.
Right.
For each one.
Yes, of course.
Well, I think that gives you a good idea. That's exactly the type of hospitality they have. Incredibly polite, very hospitable, and, just comfortable and beautiful and very personal. That's the greetings we had. Typical bed and breakfast per person per night out there, including dinner, is approximately on the US, it would be between $80 and $100 per night. So actually very feasible, and certainly worth the experience. Rather than going hotels, if you can do a bed and breakfast, it certainly is worth it. So that's just a quick recommendation on it. Let's see, where are we now? 324. I'm just going to have a quick look and see if you're still with me or if you want me to interrupt this and carry on next time. So I'm going to have a quick look at your comments whilst this loads. Tree climbing, thank you very much for the donation. Thanks for saying great work. Thank you so much. Hi, Sherry. Very nice to see you too. Fika, yes, that's fika. That's a Swedish word. Jack, that's exactly what I got. Most tea, yes, most tea instead of coffee. Absolutely correct. It is that case, yes. So I don't see any comments here at the moment of people saying, Christian, is getting too much. So I will carry on a bit. But I respect your time, so just let me know. So again, here is a clip from that was our breakfast, by the way. Quite beautiful. So yes, mainly tea, but they did have coffee, and they do have good coffee too. You see that beautiful Stellers in that corner?
You ordered me a beer? Oh, wonderful. Would they be offended if I didn't use their slippers? I see your note.
Yes, no, I don't think so. I don't know it's a real answer.
What is the answer? What is this? Is this
The homemade.
Now I have to tell you one thing about Mike. Mike is Mike is a genius when it comes to languages. He will also taste anything and everything. I mean, he was in a hotel and he was taking the weirdest dishes I've ever seen that I didn't dare. I think I was the second most courageous or incourageous, whatever. And David was the least courageous when it came to food. But Mike was way ahead of us. He tried and he ate everything, no matter what. And he refused to take buns most of the time. He would stick to the traditional food. And the traditional sushi is very different to our sushi. Okay, so big really kudos to Mike on that one. Right, quite remarkable. But one thing about Mike, and you learn a lot of things when you drive with people. He's very intelligent, but he when he wanted to drive left or right and he put out his indicator, he always put the windscreen wiper on. Why? Because you're driving on the left hand side. He never picked the simplest thing up, that everything is mirrored. Everything is mirrored because your steering wheel is mirrored. It doesn't mean that your left and right gets carried over. That is also inverse. So the indicator is always next to the door. And your windscreen wipers on the other side, and the reverse. So I take you any bet that when Mike came back to Vancouver, that he didn't know, and he was cursing again because he didn't know where the indicator was. I think he finally got it after a while, but it's remarkable that a person who's so versatile in languages doesn't get this simple task of inverting. But it's just funny, isn't it? It's just hilarious. It's hilarious. I mean, that's life. Hey, we're good with some things and not so good with other things. And I'm definitely, I have the advantage. They can't tell bad stories about me. I can tell you bad stories about them at the moment. Okay, so let's jump on. Anyway, thanks for the donations. That's very kind. It was pretty awesome. It was. And you can see that. Okay, so let me see where the next clip is. Where are we now? 3, 2, 8. Okay, yeah, let's jump a bit further. Okay, it's gonna load a little bit. Get some water in the meantime. Oh yes. Oh, this just look at this man's bookshelf. This is all birds. He is an absolute bird expert. He is such a remarkable encyclopedia. Look at this. It's just beautiful. That's why I wanted to show you that. It's just, the mannerism and they had their kitchen in the back, and so it was just so beautiful. And that's the breakfast, by the way. That's why I want to show you. This is the breakfast, right? And this didn't taste very much like fish. You had
decent sized bottles, don't they?
I'm just going to wait a bit.
They do, yes.
You had restaurants also that tasted very much like fish, but it depends also how they prepared it. Really beautiful breakfast. So you can see, how special the experience was. We go on again. Very interesting, isn't it, Susan? Susan Lee Smith, I just see your comment here. Oh, yes. Just more about, maybe I should stop a little bit talking about food, but I think food is a very important part of the culture there. That's why, you see they have these homemade jams there. And they do have forks and knives. Okay, next one. Okay, now I think we're getting to the wildlife part. So just wait a little till it loads. Yes. So again, I gave, if you have, that's why I'm only showing a very short clip of this. I actually gave a live stream out there in the again, in the middle of nowhere. How is it possible? They have the best cell phone connection. So what they do there is they actually help their Stellers to survive. That's why I think there are 5,000 Steller eagles total. That's what Dr. Saito estimates. And 3,500 of which migrate in winter to northern Japan. And 1,500 approximately stay in Russia or Kamchatka during that time. So they're spread all over the islands there. But that's also why a lot come, because they're fed there by fish remains and so on. And it's also a tourist attraction because it gives, you're not allowed to go close to them. There's a definite distance between you. And so that's respect for wildlife, but they have a very nice fine balance. And you pay an entrance fee, I think for this event was something like $10 or so. And you get to really experience, the actions on ice that you usually do not see. So they bring out the fish, and then you see them feasting. By the way, this is something that Jack Molan and I very much saw in Dutch Harbor. That's how they do it, right? And it's a very nice symbiosis actually between man and wildlife. So they're carrying out the fish there. Let me just jump to the next clip. I got so many, so just jump a little bit forward here. So you're going to see some of these squabbles between eagles. Now the Stellers are a lot bigger than the whitetail, but the white-tailed eagles are a lot faster. So there's a fine balance there. But the whitetails are very sneaky because when the Stellers fight, the whitetails come in and quickly sneak the food away. So it's quite interesting to watch them. But here you can see this is what their typical breakfast looks like.
What a kerfuffle. Gosh, my goodness, what a kerfuffle.
Okay, I just muted the sound for a second so that I can comment a little bit on this. So it doesn't disturb that much, but you can hear there's a lot of brrrr all the time. A lot of photographers there. I actually found that it is much better to have a video camera because you can observe the behavior. And David Hancock, of course, was very interested in the interaction, what actually happens between the animals, the hierarchy, and also how white-tailed eagles and Steller eagles interact. This is exactly what you can study here. I personally think that this is, although there were a lot of people there with their large cameras, and I was one of them, the best wildlife shots I actually got on the ice because they are not so clugged together. What you see is just a lot of kerfuffle all the time, and it's probably a picture that is a memory, but it doesn't give you a lot of value. So I actually think video does much more justice here because you can really see what's going on, and also actually took some slow motion pictures where you can see things in absolute slow motion at 1,000 frames per second in order to enjoy this much better. So quite interesting. So I have a lot of clips on that. I think one day I'm going to run a live stream with someone out that already put all these clips together, and you can have a blast if you want to watch this for hours. Be my guest. You're going to enjoy this. Okay, just pure wildlife. Okay, from Hokkaido. So I can do that in the future. That's fine. Just reading your comments very quickly. Let's see. Rebecca, thank you very much for your donation. That's very kind. Really nice. I appreciate that. That's wonderful. Just seeing that. Did humans provide the food? Yes. That I just see a question here from Terry. They do. So these are fish scraps. Sometimes they're herring. Sometimes they are flounders, right? Flounders, depending on what they fish. Often that is waste, and they put the waste. I've seen many hotels, by the way, a bed and breakfast. They put their wastes out, and then instead of throwing it away, they give it to wildlife, and it gives a very fine balance there. So that's the way they do it. Typical consumption is about 70 kilos, which corresponds to about 150 pounds of food out there, which is consumed within an hour. Whoops. And they really gulf it down. I mean, it's very cold there. Good question. Carrie says, my father spent time in Japan for his job on Facebook. He would always lose a ton of weight. Yeah, that's probably right. Carrie, if you're not used to it, You will lose weight if you cheat a little bit like we did. That you go live off bakery stuff. Then you'll not lose so much weight. I did lose some weight, but yes, you do lose weight when you're there. Absolutely. But you also lose weight because of the cold. It's very cold, and your calorie consumption is extremely high. Especially when you're out all the time. Okay, beautiful, isn't it, Ines? Good. Okay, so let's jump to the next clip. I think, tell me how you're doing. I just wanted to show you one other thing before, we end. Let me see where we are now. 3, 4, 6. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, you have lots of these clips. I'm going to jump this now. Yes, you know what? I'm just going to jump a little bit the clips. If this is, I'm just going to check this clip quickly because again, you can see this on the live stream. There's no need to show all this. I want to show you some clips that you surely haven't seen. Most of it you haven't seen. Well, it's just interesting to see their behavior, of course. I mean, there's so many beautiful clips here everywhere, right? Look at the walk. That's just as sneaky as a bald eagle. And these, by the way, are crows. They're not ravens. They're crows. I know you're going to correct me and say, Christian, these are ravens. No, they're not. They're crows. I can tell you, after my trip to Hokkaido, I didn't know the difference between ravens and crows anymore. I thought I knew it. But no, they have ravens, but very few. But these are crows. Incredible, isn't it? And quite big crows. Okay, so let me just jump a little bit because, let's see, 4:05. Let's see if I can do this. Because I wanted to jump to, see where 4:05 is. I got to jump a little bit ahead. If I can just jump. Yes, I know where we go. Okay, yes. Yes, I'm going to make a bit of a jump now, okay? I'm going to make a bit of a jump because there's one experience I did want to share with you, and then maybe we'll do the rest another time, but this is why I came to Hokkaido, this one experience. You may remember this. Some of you, this was on the 18th of February. Okay? So just hang on. Bear with me. 4:30 in the morning. Ice cold.
Okay, this is what it looks like early in the morning, 4:30, and it's ice cold, but I'm going to go out on the boats, get something warm, and take magnificent pictures for all of you.
By the way, I did find that my face got quite swollen very often. My eyes and everything got swollen. Jack will remember that from the cold wind. It has quite an effect on the eyes and the face, so I found myself quite swollen as now. That's because of the icy wind that you have there. Now, what is exceptional, let me explain this quickly. So we went out on the boat trip the day before, and we were a bit disappointed. Okay, we were disappointed. This is now at another place called Rausu. We were disappointed because they said you're going to go out on the pack ice. We didn't. There was a bit of pack ice in the harbor, and then they were throwing some fish overboard for some eagles to catch. Well, if you're taking 3 or 4 Stellers jumping and taking fish, that's fine. That's, by the way, what they do in Ketchikan too. Very nice. So you can get beautiful shots of eagles diving for fish. It's a very nice experience. But I was hoping for the ice, and I thought it wasn't there, or maybe I missed the point. So David and Mike slept in, and I went out that morning, and then suddenly we really went out far. And the day later I did a broadcast, but I wanted to share this day with you because everything was perfect. The weather was perfect. It was one of the most remarkable days. It was the 18th of February, Monday. I think it was a Monday, 18th of February. That was the most remarkable day in my life. It was exceptional. It was exceptional. So I just wanted to share that with you. So as we drove out, I saw the pack ice coming in, right? There was more and more pack ice. and it was incredible. It was before sunrise, yeah. And I didn't know what to expect. I just thought, this is crazy. This is so beautiful. And then you came and you saw all these eagles on the ice before the sun rose, right? I'm just going to see if I can see which clips I actually got here for you. 110. Let me just see. 1101. Sorry, that's the wrong clip. This was one of the ones I wanted to show you. Just hang on. It's loading again. It's just slow. But this is the experience that I came for, and I tell you, this exceeded everything in the most beautiful way. And I have to show this on video. So you can see, as the sun is still below the horizon, you just have the morning, the dawn, and there the eagles sitting out on the pack ice. It's insanely beautiful. I have no word to even describe this. It's beyond belief. It's really beyond belief. And also you have to think that the boat is heated inside if you don't like the cold. There is an icy wind out there, so you have to be well dressed, but you can go inside and heat. The accommodation is very good here, but it's something to die for, really. It's something that any wildlife enthusiast should have on their bucket list. An experience like this is out of the world. I don't know what else to say, but this was probably one of the most remarkable experiences of my life, because I didn't even expect this. And I actually did a live broadcast the next day. So I'm going to show a few more of these clips. Let's see. Yeah, just to give you an idea, I'm just going to quickly have a look at your comments in the meantime. It is gorgeous, yes. It is. And as I said, I might do a tour if there's enough interest. I might organize a tour out there, because I know where to go. Isn't it beautiful, Inez and Kathleen and so on? It is, absolutely. So I'm just going to play this clip now. As you can see, there's plenty of space for photographers and everything. They're right there. I mean, this is taken with the iPhone. It's beautiful. Okay. Okay, here comes another one. I just have to spend a lot of time just showing you the scenery. I mean, the nicest things, of course, is going to the Kruger Park, seeing a sunrise there in South Africa, wild animals. But this is stunning. You see, I mean, we just had the perfect weather. Just at sunrise. Look at this. That's a reflection, by the way, from the iPhone camera. I think it's difficult to even describe emotions in this, but it's really like this. It's it's amazing what you can show. It is totally amazing. It is. I can just show you clips and clips because I couldn't stop looking. I mean, we have such a beautiful planet. It's like being in the middle of David Attenborough's movies, right in the middle. That's how it felt like. Yeah, the light and colors, and this is the iPhone only. I mean, it's just, it's so beautiful, isn't it? Linda says spectacular. Yes, it is, isn't it? So I'm going to show you a few more because I can't get enough of this. Next one. So I'm going to show you another. I'm just going to show you clip after clip now because that's really the highlight. For me, this was the highlight of the trip. And by the way, I came back and David and Mike, who thought we're going to have another harbor trip, they were in bed sleeping long, and I came back and I said, you won't believe what I just saw. And I showed this to them on the iPhone, and they were completely shocked. And of course, next day we went out together, which was great, by the way. But you have to have this experience. Yeah, it's beyond. I don't know. There are no. I run out of superlatives here, and this is another. This is looking towards Russia, actually. You know, the Kuril, or what do you call the Kuril Islands start there. So we're very close to Russia. And look at the Paka. It's just incredible, and the light. Oh my goodness! I mean, you go crazy with the camera. You go absolutely crazy. 834. Let's just see. I got a few more clips here for you, and then I think we'll call it a day because it's getting too long now. But that was the highlight. As you can see, how the atmosphere changes just in a few minutes as the sun rises. It completely changes. It gives light that is a photographer's dream. When the eagles then go out, they throw fish out on the ice, and that's why you find so many eagles there. And the composition that you get from a photographic point of view is, well, I mean, it's just perfect. You can't make a mistake. Even with an iPhone, you cannot make a mistake. So that's why I'm going to compile a beautiful eagle calendar for this year. You know, I can promise that, and I'm very glad to be able to do that because, well, I have stunning, absolutely stunning photography that you'll be seeing. Oh, that's me, by the way. That's the moment of absolute bliss, you know, out there. And as you can see, I never wear gloves. And my hands were completely frozen because I need to operate the camera. I cannot do that properly with gloves. So I didn't care, you know, as long as my hands were still moving, I was fine. Let's see what else we have for 8. Yeah, and then towards, let's just see, 6, 7. Oh yeah, that's just on the boat. That's another quick clip on the boat. And then I think we'll call it a day. Awesome, isn't it, Jack? I mean, Jack, I'm sure you've seen such things in your life. You as a fisherman have seen this. But, I mean, this is exquisite, isn't it? It's absolutely exquisite, isn't it? I mean, wow, I can see Jack running a boat like this. It's just so incredible. It's so incredible. Okay, let's jump around a few more. 5, 7. Oh, yeah, just a few more, and then I've actually done it. Oh yeah, that's another one. I think that's going back now. So a trip like that will cost you per ride approximately $100 for 2 hours. Is it worth it? For goodness sakes, yes. Absolutely worth it. Absolutely. What types of boats are they? Yes, they you know, that's an interesting question here. That's just a question on, you know, Jack, maybe you can remark on this better than I can. I think they have ice-breaking capability, these boats. I just want to show you the harbor quickly, and maybe we see the boat there. I think that's a great question. So I'm going to stop there a moment. So there you go. I think Jack can comment much better than I can. But that's you can see even the company that does it. So they have obviously some ice-breaking capabilities, but it's not severe pack ice, right? It's so probably a normal fishing boat can also do this, right, Jack? I'm just going to see your comments. I'm just going to let it run. You're most welcome. So you can see it's stunning, right? I know. I'm sorry. I'm repeating myself with boring phrases. I wish I had new vocabulary that I could invent for this type of experience. But it's the ultimate wildlife experience out on the ice with different types of eagles. A sunrise like that. It's something to die for. And I will, if there's interest, I will organize a trip there because I know where to go and where the places are. But it was magical, wasn't it, Kathy? It was absolutely magical. And you're all very welcome. So I think, having said that, I'm glad to really end the trip experience like this. I'm just going to put my friend in the background. Show you some of these beautiful clips. It's just magnificent. You can imagine I've got thousands of these photos that are just out of this world from wild eagles on the ice, just incredible. I don't even know where to start or where to end and so on, because it just goes on and on and on. But I can fill calendars and books of that, and I haven't actually seen very much material on that. You've seen more on bald eagles, but very little on that. So it does really encourage me. Thanks, Terry, and thanks, everybody. Yeah, thanks, Osprey Mama. Very kind of you. Jack says, the bottom right up over the ice. Flat bottom right up over the ice. I see. Okay, good. And I can see you've really been enjoying that. That makes me incredibly happy because that's what I want to... He's beyond words now. I am, yes. I am beyond words. So, on that note... Really, it's the most beautiful way to stop. So I'm just going to, let's just do this correctly. I'm first going to say goodbye to my Facebook friends. So thanks for joining and being with me, and Gentleman Ghost and Eric and all the others. Thanks a lot, and have a lovely weekend. And then I will say to all the Facebook friends, let me just jump on Facebook quickly. Yes. Facebook. So thanks a lot for being with me. I can see Marta there, Ines, Victoria. Jenny is also on Facebook. Thanks for putting comments and all the help, Jenny. Great work. Tim and everybody else. Yes, Stellers are bigger, Tim. Absolutely. And thanks for joining and taking the time. I really appreciate that. Thanks. And then finally to everyone on YouTube. That's, of course, the main channel. And, thanks for being with me. It was an incredible experience. Yeah, Jack, by the way, has a very nice video that Jack is an excellent speaker. So do see the last presentation. He just put a link in there. It's funny. He imitates my horrible German accent in a very good way. So I feel bad about my German accent, but I can't help it. Okay. But he's very funny, okay? So do have a look at his link there. It's really hilarious. But I wanted to say, thanks so much for, let's just see if I'm still on camera. Yes, I am. Let's put this bigger. So, thanks all my friends. Thanks for everyone to being within. Thanks for all the donations, all the kind, to have the patience to watch and enjoy this with me. Rebecca donated $20. I know. Tree climbing $10. Osprey Mama $10. Chickadee $12. That's remarkable. Thank you so much. That's all going to go towards maintaining this not-for-profit channel, and that's what it's about. And the next trip is going to be Australia, and I can't wait to broadcast more and show you more of our beautiful planet. It's like being a David Attenborough on the road. I feel very privileged to be able to do that. Really privileged. And I feel privileged and very honored that you take so much time and enjoy this so much. Okay, so let me just see. Live YouTube always goes a bit different. Wait a second. Just let me work this out quickly so I don't get this wrong. I have to stop YouTube in a different way. Yeah, there we go. So anyway, so I wish you a wonderful weekend, my friends, and yeah, all the best until next Friday. Rebecca's back next Friday with some exciting new things, and we always got exciting things. So until March is going to be full of things, and for those on Patreon and all those kind people who donated, you're not forgotten. We're going to send you beautiful images of Stellers and so on. Very much appreciated. Thank you so much. Bye.